let's try this. Let's go. All right, I'm live. This is the first time I've done this on my computer. Any other time I've gone live, it's been via my phone, which is just really simple. You just push the button. So, please bear with me. Let me know in the comments if there's anything wrong. If you can't hear my audio, let me know. All right, this is exciting. So, as promised, I'm going to be sorting through these two boxes. I think you can see back here. So this one and this one. In all honesty, and this is a little embarrassing, I haven't touched these boxes since I moved here. I packed those boxes when I lived in Orlando with stuff, brought them to New York City, and then moved them in, and then I never sorted through them. And so there's a high likelihood that I'm just going to throw everything that is in these boxes away. But that's not why we're here. That's not the important thing. Hello, Harrison Duplex. Thank you for joining. The important thing, and the reason that I decided to do this video, is to do just a quick Q&A. This Q&A will last as long as it takes me to go through these boxes, which, again, may not be very long if I just decide to throw everything away. A little about this move. I made the video explaining that I'm moving to Brooklyn, but I didn't give a lot of detail. So I'm moving to right on the border of Bushwick and Bed-Stuy. Those are two neighborhoods in Brooklyn. They seem like pretty cool neighborhoods. I have a lot of friends that live in Bushwick. It seems like a very cool neighborhood, which I'm excited about. And I'm moving on December 1st. I took off work. I rented a truck, everything. I'm going to move. The place is a studio apartment that is maybe 2 or 3 times the size of this bedroom. And it's got a washer and dryer. It's got a dishwasher. Hey, everybody. I just saw 3 people join. Thank you for joining. I was just quickly explaining my new apartment, which you'll see very soon. I have lots of plans for a lot of original content based around my move, based around decorating this apartment, getting it to be the place, my home, the apartment I want to live, maybe putting in, good morning, Kimberly, putting in a small studio for me to film this kind of stuff so it's not here in my bedroom like this. But anyway, enough about the apartment, enough about the move. Let's get to sorting through these boxes and have you guys ask me some questions. So feel free to go ahead, ask questions in the comments while I'm sorting through. So it's upside down, but you can see this box is labeled Bathroom 2013. From when I moved here to New York City, it was mostly bathroom stuff, or all bathroom stuff, except for this GoPro box, which obviously I didn't need because I haven't unpacked it yet. John McCarthy says, I am moving to Maine soon, thanks to you. That's awesome, John. Are you moving to Portland, where I went? Because I assume that's what John is referring to. I went to Portland, Maine in May of last year, and it was sort of like a last-minute trip. And it was sort of an expensive trip because it was last minute, but I had an awesome time. So, John, congratulations. I hope that you enjoyed Maine. I enjoyed it a lot. So, Andy Gottby, he says, hi, Jacob. So you live in New York. So an obvious question, what's your favorite landmark in the city? This is a tough one. I don't know. Oh, John, I'm glad you're moving to Portland. Cool. So, Andy, I don't know that I have a favorite landmark. There are so many great ones. One that I see quite often, and that always makes me smile, is the Chrysler Building. It's just sort of down from where I work, and so a lot of times when I'm walking to work or walking from work, especially at night, I'll look up and see it, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful building. I love accidentally seeing it or seeing it from different parts of the city. What's up, Tal? The Traveling Clat has joined. By the way, just a little digression. If you guys don't follow Tal, His YouTube channel is called The Traveling Clot. He's awesome, and you should definitely go check it out after you're done with this stream. He's been traveling the world for 6 or 7 months or something like that, I think. He's now in South Korea. He just took the Trans-Siberian, I almost said orchestra, railroad from Moscow to the other end of Russia. He's awesome. He does a bunch of cool stuff. Check him out. He asks, why am I so awesome? I'm gonna give all the credit to my mom. My mom's awesome, and so hopefully I inherited a little bit of that. Hassan, I didn't miss your question. Why do I grow my beard? I grow my beard because I think I look better with it. The last 2 years, I participated in Movember, where I shaved my whole face and then grew out the mustache over the course of November, and it looked bad. People told me I looked like Homer Simpson, which is not a compliment. So I like to keep my beard because I think it looks better on me. So I've had it for a long time. And then APN TV. We only saw a little bit of Brooklyn and it looked really cool. What is cool where you're moving to? Andy and Chris. Bushwick is... There aren't any like huge landmarks in Bushwick and Bed-Stuy where I'm moving, but the coolest part is the vibe of the neighborhood, especially Bushwick. It is very much what people say. It's very much what Williamsburg used to be, where it's a lot of local businesses and local industry and people just making stuff. And there haven't been a lot of new high-rises and those kind of businesses just that have come in. And so it's still a neighborhood, which is really great. Hassan asked, do I follow any series? I follow a lot of YouTube channels. Tall, who I was just talking about earlier, who was on this stream, he is a really great vlogger who I follow, as well as a lot of the bigger vloggers. Ben Brown is someone who I look up to a lot in terms of the content that he creates. I follow a lot of NYC YouTubers, obviously Casey Neistat, Sarah Dici, Sam Sheffer. Excuse me. And then there's the other side of YouTube that I really love, and that is the DIY side of YouTube. So pardon if the audio gets bad, but I follow, there's a channel called Tested that is all things sort of maker and nerd. It's run by a few people, one of them being Adam Savage from Mythbusters. It's really great. And then I recently have been following a lot of DIY channels because I plan on doing a lot of that in my new apartment. I'll have a backyard in my new apartment, so I'll be able to do some woodworking and just chilling during the summer. That's going to be cool. Look forward to that. John McCarthy asks, my daughter Kenzie says hi. Hi, Kenzie. As well as hope we can visit NYC when we move out there. Definitely. Obviously, you can drive to NYC from Portland, like I drove to Portland from NYC, but you can take a bus, a train. There are lots of more comfortable ways to get here than driving. So hopefully you'll be able to visit. It's a cool city, obviously. Kimberly, what is the one touristy thing in NYC you've never done but want to do? You know what? That recently, that was... Let me look through this bag. I don't know what's in here. That was going to the Statue of Liberty inside of it, the crown. But I did that. So I don't know what it is now. I've been to the Empire State Building, the top of it, but that was before I was vlogging, before I lived here. So I definitely want to do that again and take you guys along with. You know what I've never done? This isn't necessarily something I'm like scrambling to do, but I've never taken one of those open top double-decker bus tours. And I've heard good things. I mean, when you're basically one story up going through the cities, it's just really cool apparently to just look up and see. And it's cool to get that sort of perspective and to just be a tourist for a couple hours. People are always really adverse to being a tourist, especially when they move here. And a set of pearls. I don't know why this is here, but I don't need them. And oops, someone's calling me. Well, they can wait. So I don't know what people's aversion to being a tourist is when they move here. They always just want to really fit in right away and be a New Yorker. And they end up missing out on things like going to the Statue of Liberty, going to the Empire State Building. And those are really important things. Obviously, they are they are landmarks, trademarks of New York City. So I always tell people, do not be afraid to be a tourist, even when you move here, when you live here, because there's really nothing wrong with it. Oh man, this is like a whole medical kit. Maybe I will hold on to this. Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to this. Sorry. You know, this is the sorting through stuff part. Let me see what's on this other side. And thank you for the question, Kimberly. Hassan, you look awesome with a beard. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like to think so as well. All right, next question. Will you visit Central Park after you move to your new place? Yes, I definitely will. Central Park is just it's built into me as a New Yorker. It's some place that I just really, really love, and it's one of my favorite places to go in the city because there is so much to see there, and I will definitely still go to Central Park. The difference is that I will also probably be going to Prospect Park in Brooklyn more often because it'll be so much more accessible to me, and Prospect Park in its own right is an amazing place. It's pretty dang huge. It's got a lot of cool stuff there, so you can expect to see more of that in the vlog after I move to Brooklyn. Good question, thank you. So, favorite museum. I don't know if I have a favorite, but definitely one of my favorites, and the one I go to most frequently, is the Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I've said this before in my videos, but it is just such a huge place and such an amazing place with an amazing amount of art that you can just go and spend an hour there, see a very small portion, and feel content. And the other thing that helps out is that it's pay what you want. So you could just pay $1 to get in there. You don't have to pay the suggested $25 donation, I think is what it is. So I don't feel bad about just going, spending an hour in there, seeing one area, one room, spending all my time there because I know I can always go back and it's cheap. So that's my answer. I wouldn't call it my favorite, but it's definitely one that I enjoy going to a lot and as a repeat visitor. Okay. The abandoned building was awesome this morning. What made you want to go see it? Thank you, John. In case you haven't seen it, John is referring to an abandoned building that I visited recently. Look at this is basically a whole bottle of shampoo that I never opened. This is why I'm getting rid of stuff, because I had so much that I just never went through it. But anyway, the abandoned building. A friend of mine, my friend James, who was with me, he sent me that link, and he knows that I'm just down for adventure in general. He sent me this link that was an article recently in Thrillist, an online publication about that place, the Jumping Jack Pump House or the Jumping Jack Power Plant. And he said in the article they don't indicate where it's at, just to avoid people flocking there and hurting themselves. And James said he sent it to me. And then 5 minutes later, he said, I know where this is. He was able to figure out where the place was. And he said, you want to go this weekend? And I told him, yeah. So we went. We were able to get in pretty easily. And once you know where it's at, which I'm sorry, but I won't tell you. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I've done a little bit of urban exploration before, but nothing to that level, to that extent. And I loved it. It was a bit dangerous, but James and I practiced a lot of caution. There were some other guys there that were just tagging the place, spray painting. They weren't as careful, although they didn't get hurt, which is good. But it was amazing. And if you guys haven't seen that video, you should definitely go check it out. It's about 7 minutes long, and I love it. I'm in love with how the video turned out. So check it out on my channel. Just a flyby to say I enjoy your content, Jacob. Thank you, Rosie. I appreciate it. Scotty asks, hey, Jacob, just moved to Chicago. I know you're from there. Any recommendations? Oh, man. Scotty, congratulations. Chicago is an amazing city, but you moved there in the wrong time of year. But I guess this is good. Trial by fire. For those of you that don't know, Chicago is very brutal, or can be very brutal in the winter, even though it's only a little bit further north on the latitude than New York City is, it gets so much more snow and is very windy, and can be very bitterly cold. So I know this isn't exactly what you're asking for, Scotty, but my recommendation is get a good winter coat and wear lots of layers. Layers are the key. And just explore. Chicago, people don't realize it, but Chicago has a ton of amazing neighborhoods outside of the stuff that you normally see. And there's a lot to be had and to be seen in all of those. So just use the public transportation, which is pretty good, and explore. And go to Navy Pier once, check out the Ferris wheel, check out the views, but then don't feel like you need to go back again. Navy Pier is the biggest tourist attraction in the Midwest, I think, and definitely in Illinois, but there's not a lot there. I worked there for many years, and I love the people that work there, but right now it doesn't have a lot to offer. So those are my recommendations. And also, congrats on 5K. Thank you, Scotty. Let's see. Can you cook, or do I just order fast food from Hassan? I do order a lot of delivery food. That's just because I'm oftentimes very tired when I get home from work, and I have the luxury of doing so, which is, I'm lucky that I have that. But after I move to this new place, I'm going to have this beautiful kitchen, and I'll have the apartment all to myself, and so I plan on cooking a lot more, and I'll probably make some videos about it. I don't know if I'll have a whole cooking series, but I do plan on, oh dang, some razors. I do plan on cooking a lot more in my new apartment, because I do enjoy cooking. It saves me money when I do, and so I'm going to do it. And then, Andy, we ate well in Brooklyn, but struggled a bit in Manhattan to find places where we liked. Where are your favorite places to eat in Manhattan? Andy and Chris. You know what? I don't go out to restaurants that often. Like I said, I just was saying that I do order delivery here in the neighborhood, here in Astoria. That's prescription medicine. Ooh, hydrocodone. But meclizine, I think this is an antibiotic. But I don't go out to restaurants that often. Oftentimes I will instead go to a bar that has food. One place, this is not a good recommendation, but one place that we always go to, the people at work and I, is called Gabby O'Hara's. It's this Irish pub in Midtown. The beer's cheap, the food's pretty good, and the atmosphere is good. It's probably nothing like an actual Irish pub, but there are Irish people working there. And the place is called Gabby O'Hara's. So, I'm not the person to give any good restaurant recommendations. I'm sorry, but I have a lot of friends that do go out, and if anything comes up, I'll let you know. Any places that you must go. Okay, name one place you love in New York City. I know it's hard. I'll try to think of something. You know what? The other night, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw this, but the other night I was in Madison Square Park. Not Madison Square Garden, Madison Square Park, which is down by the Flatiron Building, 23rd, between 23rd and 26th, I think. And it's a beautiful, beautiful park, especially at night. They always have big art installations in the grass area, which you can't really walk around on, but that's fine. And it's where the original Shake Shack is. If you guys know Shake Shack, they're expanding all around the country and around the world now. I think I saw one in Moscow when I was there. But the original one is in Madison Square Park. It's still there. The building's been renovated. But it's just a really cool place to hang out at night and chill. And it's in a good neighborhood, a good area with lots of food and stuff. There we go. Andy, another place I can recommend is called Italy. So it's Italy with an EA instead of an I at the front. It's an old department store that they have turned into this basically food hall. So they have all these counters and stuff where you can buy Italian candies and different wines and pastries and different dishes. And then there's a few actual Italian restaurants in there as well. So it feels very European in the sense that what's the place in London? I haven't been there, but the Big Market, something. Piccadilly Circus? I don't know, but that's probably not it. But it's like a big food hall where you can just go and like snack or drink or have an actual meal. It's very cool. I think they opened one up in Chicago as well recently. So that's a place I recommend. But yeah, Lucifer. I recommend Madison Square Park, and I really like it. And it's a place a lot of people go, but they don't necessarily, you know, go out of their way to go there. Thomas, hello from Russia. Здравствуйте. How are you? Welcome to the stream. By the way, this cologne, I think I inherited from my brother. It's shaped like a shotgun shell. I have 2 of them here. Look at how old that label is. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see how well you can see that. But this thing is old. I don't know why I still have it. I'm going to throw it away. I hold on to a lot of sentimental stuff, and that's my problem, and that's what I'm doing here now. Is getting rid of all of that. Hassan, looking forward to seeing your cooking. It will be priceless. Thank you. I like to think that I'm a pretty good cook. My mom has taught me a lot of cooking skills. So I need to hone a lot of them. But the cool thing is, this one smells much better. The cool thing is that at work we have a cooking club, and a lot of people who cook a lot. One of my good friends on my team, Steven, who you may have seen in the vlogs before, he cooks a lot. And so I have people I can go to for advice and recipe ideas and stuff like that, which is cool. So, love eating bars too. That's good. Chris, hi Chris, welcome. Thanks for joining. I always appreciate you commenting on all my videos. Any future travel plans from Heather Wood? The only immediate future travel plans I have, singular. Oh, that's good. I have all of this medicine. But anyway, the only future travel plans I have right now are to travel home for Christmas. Because I'm moving and I have so much to do and I want to save money for the move, I'm not going home for Thanksgiving. I'll be here by myself, taking advantage of the time off of work to finish up everything. But I will be going back home to Illinois for Christmas time. And I plan on spending at least a week there. And so I definitely want to spend a couple days in Chicago, exploring Chicago and making videos of Chicago, because it's been such a long time since I've done that. I lived in Chicago for almost 8 years, and I haven't been there and explored it in so long. So those are my immediate travel plans. Probably sometime in January, February, depending on my funds, how much money I have after this move and after traveling. I would love to travel someplace warm. South America is high on my list because I have not been to that continent. So, Covent Garden. Thank you, Andy. That's what I was thinking of. And we went to Madison Square Park. Good, good. When you just feel like getting out of the city for a weekend, where do you go and how do you get there? It always differs. It depends on my mood, on the resources available to me. But a lot of times I will try to find some place along the Hudson River, in Westchester, where I can go because it's pretty easily accessible from the city. You can just take a train up there. And there's so much along the Hudson. I've traveled different places so often in my videos, to Bannerman Castle, to Beacon, to Cold Spring, to God, I'm blanking on the name, but there's a mountain up there. It's a really great hike that's basically just straight up. And so taking the train up along the Hudson is a really quick and easy way to get out of the city and just see how beautiful, absolutely gorgeous the Hudson Valley is. And that's a recommendation for all of you. By the way, this used to be my favorite cologne, Abercrombie & Fitch, Cologne 41. I also have, from my younger years, Fierce in here, but this stuff just smells like garbage now to me. But anyway, if you're visiting New York City and you have an extended period of time here, I would definitely recommend taking the Metro North train up to the Hudson Valley. And there's wineries up there. There are just small, really great cities that you can just spend a day or two in. Just Google Hudson Valley and you'll find some really cool stuff. So that's my go-to place, I think, when I need to get out of the city. There's a shower head, you know. John McCarthy, you mentioned your job a couple times without saying the company name and what do you do for work. I work for a company called VTS, and it's a software company. God, this Adidas cologne is probably from the 90s. I don't know why I still have it. It's empty, by the way. Anyway, I work for a software company that makes software for commercial real estate professionals. So It basically allows people involved in commercial real estate, so brokers, asset managers, landlords, owners, whatever, to do their work more efficiently, to track all of their deals, to track their current tenants. And what I do for that company is I work on the customer operations team. And that is a fancy name for customer support. But the reason we have a fancy name is because we're not just answering questions all day. It's a big part of what we do, and we are very good at it, our team. But I also handle a lot of our learning and content creation. So making videos, teaching people how to use the product, writing articles, that kind of stuff. And so my job is a lot more than just answering questions from angry people. And we're lucky enough to where a lot of people aren't getting that angry, which is cool. And I enjoy my job. I enjoy the company. So that's what I do. All right. Thanks, Chris. So what's one of the crazy experiences that you had on the street in NYC? There's so many. By the way, this is a full bottle of Old Spice Fiji body wash. I'm going to keep that. I think my mom gave this to me when I was moving, or she sent it to me for my birthday one year or something, along with these bars of soap. So, by the way, that's one box down. We only got one small box to go, and I think that most of it is all the same thing. So get your questions in, because we're probably going to end soon. But anyway, to answer your question, what's one of the craziest experiences I've had on the street in NYC? There's a lot, but I guess the first one that comes to mind, and I need to Google his name because I don't remember. But I was walking through, what's the neighborhood? I was walking through a neighborhood in southern Manhattan, lower Manhattan, and I saw a SNL cast member who was completely drunk, trying to impress a woman by doing skateboard tricks. Needless to say, he was not very good at it at all. He fell many times. I think I took a little bit of video, but then later deleted it because I was like, what do I need this for? I don't want to embarrass this guy. So that was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. I was, it's a little bit of like, oh my god, that guy's from SNL, and then immediately like, oh man, he's really drunk, and he's trying to skateboard. So that was pretty fun. But I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. Most recently I saw someone peeing as I was exiting the subway, which doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's not fun to see. I've seen people boxing in Union Square, which apparently happens quite often. But yeah, what countries are you visiting if you come to South America? You know what? I'm not picky by any means. I will probably visit the country that has the cheapest flights, because that's how I travel. Sometimes I will say I want to travel to this place and then just wait and find and go when it's cheap. But most of the time I try to find the cheapest flights and then let that dictate where I'm going to travel to. So yeah, I'm not picky at all. I have friends that I work with that are from Brazil, and so I know if I go there, I'd be taken care of by their friends and have lots of recommendations and things like that. But I also, I want to see everywhere. I want to go to all the countries, to Argentina, to Buenos Aires, to Colombia, to Peru, to all the places. Every country that I haven't been to yet, I want to go to. And then, okay, so Hassan asked, have you thought about changing your career? Yes, I guess, but I wouldn't say that where I work is my career. I don't have a career right now. I make good money and I enjoy the company I work for, and that's important to me. And I'm able to get my creative urges out by making videos and making music occasionally, and in the future building things. Creativity is a huge part of who I am, and without it I would probably feel pretty empty, but I'm able to to do all of that through my YouTube channel. So I don't know what'll happen in the future, but I've always lived my life that way, and it's worked out pretty well so far. So yeah, that's where I'm at. By the way, I just want to show you this box right here is just a box of ties and a tie holder that I got at the thrift store, I think. So this next section is just going to be me going through ties and deciding whether I still want to keep them. I'm not going to keep this. Put that in the garbage. Okay, next question. Try to visit Egypt. You will enjoy 100%. Definitely. I definitely want to go to Egypt. My friend Scott, who I went to... what is this for? Who I went to Morocco with, he had been to Egypt before as well. And he said, although it was very similar to Morocco, it was completely different. So, like I said before, I want to go to every country that I haven't been to, and Egypt is definitely one of those. There's a lot that Egypt and that whole area of the world has to offer. A lot of history, which is exciting. That explains why you're so talented in the vlog videos. I am a real estate investor and have not heard of your company. I'm going to check it out. What's the name again of the company? John, if it's called VTS. VTS. If you're not commercial real estate, that would explain why you haven't heard of it. It's specific to commercial real estate. But, check it out. Chris says, you're so sweet. Why don't you have a girlfriend? I'm married for 25 years, so I'm not hitting on you. No worries, Chris. I don't have a girlfriend just because I'm not actively seeking one out. I'm not opposed to the idea by any means, but I don't think it's important for me to have a girlfriend. I don't need, it's not necessary for me to have one. I'm not in a rush, I guess. And although it would be nice to have someone to share all of my experiences with, it would also be another factor in my life to consider when making travel plans and things like that. So, again, it's not something I'm searching for by any means, but I'm not opposed to the idea. If someone comes along and I'm like, hey, I'd like to date you, and they're up for the idea as well, I'd do it. By the way, keeping this tie, again, I inherited this from my brother, and it's still a beautiful tie. It's like watercolor flowers. I don't know. I love it. So, keeping that one. Let's see here. In your opinion, which one came in first, the chicken or the egg? Shaheen the boy. That is a tough question. I'm going to say neither. I think the chicken was something else before it was the chicken, and then it became the chicken, and eventually had to lay an egg. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this question. So, just for the sake of answering the question, I'll say chicken, but I have no idea. Keep this tie. Nice knitted skinny tie. This is pretty cool still. If you come to Paraguay, let me know. I definitely will. I also have a friend who's from Paraguay, and so, if I go, I'll have, people to talk to and things to get, people to get recommendations from. If you have a girlfriend, then you won't need to cook. You know what, Hassan? In some households that's true, but I think that even if I did have a girlfriend, I would still enjoy cooking. I wouldn't put that task solely on her. Oof. This tie is too wide, so going away. Some of this stuff too. If you watch my Instagram, you would have seen last night. I have approximately 2 tons of clothes that I'm going to be donating. So ties like this that are still in good shape, I'm just going to donate. I'm not going to throw away. Okay, is there going to be another Subway Tracks video coming soon? Yeah, I hope to make one. It really depends on when I see Subway performers. They're not always there, or recently, because I go to the Times Square station a lot. The Subway performers I've been seeing have been the same ones, or have been in a hurry and haven't been able to stop. But definitely I want to make a Subway Tracks video. I want to keep that going, because there's so many amazing, talented performers here in New York City, and I want to showcase them all. There is a video that I forgot to post last year around Christmas time, and so that time's coming up, and it's a Christmas song by this really amazing band that plays at 14th Street, Union Square. So that'll be coming relatively soon as well. Hey, Electric 9, what's up? What's your favorite NYC burger? I'd love to see a burger video. Oh man, my favorite NYC burger. I haven't had a lot of them, but one that is just a go-to that I always love is Shake Shack. I know it's a fast food place, so it's a little bit of a cop-out maybe, but I love Shake Shack. Their burgers are excellent. A burger that I recently had, maybe a couple months ago, a month or two ago, was the Impossible Burger. There is a video about that on my channel. Some of you may have seen it, but that is a burger that is completely made out of fake meat, but fake meat that has been engineered, R&D'd and engineered to react and taste like actual meat. And it was excellent. There's still some flaws, I guess, in it if you're going to compare it to real meat, but it was the best fake meat burger I've ever had, hands down. Let's see here. Another question. My wife can't cook. I cook 3 meals a day. Well, that's good. As long as at least one person in the household can cook, then, you're golden. Was the hamburger stuff with mac and cheese really that good? I don't remember. When did I have a hamburger stuffed with mac and cheese? I don't remember that. If you're asking about one that I had, I'll have to try to remember that. Do you love upgrading your smartphone yearly, or do you love to keep it forever? I upgrade my smartphone when I can. So this phone, for instance, I've had this phone for 2 years now. I would love to upgrade soon because it's getting a little slow, but upgrading my my smartphone yearly, it's just very expensive, especially now that the cell phones are like over $1,000. Even with the carrier subsidizing it, it's still, I'm spending $600 or $700 on a phone when instead I can spend $600 or $700 on a flight to Korea or something, So I usually choose the latter instead of getting a new phone, but I'll probably get a new one soon. Yeah, Christmas edition Subway Tracks. My favorite burger is Island Burger, by the way. I saw the Impossible video. Jonathan, where is Island Burger? I'd love to check it out if it's really good. God, look at this tie. This is orange paisley. I will be donating this one. I love this tie, but I won't be wearing it anymore. Donate. Here is a bow tie. It's always good to have a black bow tie, so I'll be keeping this. I had fake chicken in Hong Kong, and it seemed to have fake gristle, too. It was horrible. Andy, I'm curious if it was horrible because it tasted horrible, or if it was because of the texture. Thought it was in Maine. Oh, John, I think what you're thinking of was a burger not with mac and cheese, but with peanut butter and bacon. And that peanut butter and bacon burger, that was really good. It can dry out your mouth a little bit, the peanut butter, but it's still really good. By the way, for anybody who's visiting Chicago, or if you're moving to Chicago, I would highly, highly recommend a place called Bad Apple. I think it's on Lincoln, up on the north side of Chicago. They have an amazing, amazing beer menu, hundreds of beers, and they have the best burgers, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, in Chicago. They have just a ton of really different types of burgers, and they all taste really, really great. And then they have truffle fries that you can get, and house-made ketchup. It's excellent. Bad Apple. By the way, see this tie here? I hesitate to throw out this tie because this is the tie I wore to senior prom in high school. And I bought this to match my girlfriend at the time, to match her dress. Yellow, and it has this like purplish blue accent in the flowers. So, but this is the kind of stuff that I've been holding on to for too long, and I need to just donate. So as sentimental as this is to me, because I'm still friends with Colleen, who was my girlfriend in high school, I'm gonna donate this. It's the tough decisions. All right. Let's see here. What has been your favorite place to visit? Oh, wait. Let me see. I think I skipped some. There are 2 in Manhattan, I believe. What is that about? Oh, the places serves impossible. Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to catch up. What has been your favorite place that I've visited so far? That's from Chris. That's really tough. I don't know. Every place is so different, and I choose the places I go to because they're so different. So it's hard to compare them. Morocco was amazing. My recent road trip in the Southwest was just it was one of my best trips, I'll say that. But I think the place I'm most likely to move to out of all the places that I've visited is Hong Kong. Definitely. Hong Kong is very similar to New York City in the sense of the city's vibe. It's very different. But it's like New York City in that it's bustling. There's lots of stuff going on there. There are lots of people that live there from everywhere else in the world. And most people there speak English because the British used to run the country. So out of all the places I've traveled to, that is the place I'd be willing to move to the most. But I'm also just willing to move anywhere, really. Donating. Okay. Okay, could have been a different person in the video. That's fine. Do you subscribe to any NYC YouTubers? Yeah. So I subscribe to Casey Neistat and have, I hate to say I liked him before he was cool, but I have been subscribing to him since like 2012, I think. And he's part of the reason I decided to move to New York City. Finally. But I also occasionally watch Sarah Dietschy's videos, Sam Sheffer. MKBHD is in New Jersey, right across the river, but I count it. He makes tech YouTube videos, and he's awesome. I hope to meet him someday. I'm trying to think of who else there is that I follow. I'm sure there are others, but those are the big ones. And you see, yeah, the texture is horrible. It tasted too much like the real thing. The uncanny valley of fake meat. Have you ever been to Maine from CSA 360? Yeah, I actually went earlier this year in May. And there are videos on my channel about it. I drove up for a long weekend to Portland and spent a few days there, and it was awesome. I loved it. So I hope to go back to Maine and explore more. Go to Kennebunkport or go up to Bangor and Acadia National Park. Seems amazing. So I'd love to go back to Maine, but the only other time I've been there has been to Portland, and I loved it. Are you ever scared? That's what holds me back. Do you mean just in general, Chris, or about specific things? I mean, I guess I'll answer. There are only a few things in terms of what I'm doing that scare me. But in general, I try not to let that hold me back, because unless there is a genuine risk of... So for instance, let me just give an analogy. If there was a warehouse and I knew that in this warehouse was most likely a gang chopping up cars, or like sorting through drugs or something, that would scare me. If going in there, I would probably get shot or killed, and so I wouldn't do that. That kind of fear is good. But going into like diving out of a plane, skydiving, or jumping off of a 40-foot cliff into water that I know there's enough room for me to land in, those are scary things, but the risk to reward ratio is much higher, and so I just push past it. I'll get a little scared when I do cliff jumping off into water. It is a little freaky at first, but the first time you do it, it's amazing, and then after that, you're like, okay, I gotta do this again. So I try to push past my fears, because that's when the amazing stuff happens. That's when I have the best memories. And because, like many people, if I don't do that thing, I'll say for the rest of my life, well, what if I had done that? But a good example of something that where the risk outweighed the reward recently was on my video that I released this morning. When I was in the abandoned power plant, you could take the stairs that were very rickety up to the roof, and my friend James did, but I decided not to because I weigh significantly more than he does, and I just didn't want to take that risk on old rusted metal and potentially fall, because there's just these big metal platforms, the kind that you see in warehouses and stuff, and I just said the risk is too high. I'm already in this amazing place. I don't need to go up to the roof. I'd like to, but it's not worth me potentially really hurting myself. So, 2 Island Burgers in Manhattan. One's on 9th, close to Times Square. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate it. Thanks for the bad apple recommendation. I noticed the F Society mask in the previous video. Have you been watching Mr. Robot Season 3? It's unbelievable. I haven't yet. I've been so busy with stuff, and there's so much TV that I need to catch up on. Stranger Things 2. I do want to watch the new season of Mr. Robot, and I will, but I haven't yet. She lives in Portland. I've never been to Acadia. You should definitely go. I haven't been there, but I can still recommend it. I know it's amazing. And Jose Gems Torres says, are you leaving NYC for good? No. Eventually, at some point I will, I'm sure. I don't know if it'll be for good, but my next goal, I don't have a specific date, but my next goal is to move out of the country. I want to live in some place that's not the United States and have that experience and learn a new language. It'd be amazing. I want to do it. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but it'll happen sometime in the future. So awesome to see the subscriber numbers rising. Crazy how the exponential growth works. Congrats. Thanks, Johan. Cool. So the box is empty. Both boxes are sorted through. It may not look like it because I have the piles in the back, but donating, keeping, and now I've got some empty boxes to pack other stuff into. So we're going to call it a day. This was actually really fun. I've done Q&As in the past, but they haven't been live like this, and I really enjoyed this. Once I get to 10,000 subscribers, I have a really unique and special idea for doing a live Q&A like this that I'm excited to do. So if you guys have friends who you think would enjoy the channel, please share it with them. You know, that's the best way for growth here on YouTube channels. On YouTube is for people to discover stuff that they like, and word of mouth is always a really great thing. So I appreciate all of you joining, and I appreciate all of the awesome questions. This was really fun, and nobody asked anything that was too hard or too personal, which I appreciate. And that's it for today. I have a lot of other packing to do. I have some videos to make, so I need to do that. But again, thank you for joining. I appreciate it, and we'll probably do something like this again in the near future. All right, that's all for now. I'll see you guys in the next video later in the week. Bye.